Hello. This time we are still in Oman. We are flying to a place called Fahud, which, as far as I understand it, it's basically an oil field in the desert. So it's not really a town or a city. It's probably just, some workers' residences, probably over there, as you can see. And yeah, we're flying there because it basically needed a stop before reaching the east coast. So that's where we're headed. The airport is probably recent, and it is a default airport, so I don't expect anything fancy. We are descending to 2,500 feet to get ready for a possibly very simple RNAV approach, although the airport does not have a tower, so we will have no wind information or anything of the sort. So as usual, let's start with the checklist, which is fuel pump, landing lights. Once we turn left, let's actually prepare the turn. 308, which will already be our landing heading. So once we are there, we need to descend faster. We're not nowhere close 2,500 yet. We need to be at 2,200 when we reach the FAF, the final approach fix. So once we turn and then reach 2,200, I will set up the landing. This was a very calm flight, again desert, not much to see, nothing unexpected happening. Let's turn left. Just a usual 90 degrees heading turn for the RNAV approaches. So as soon as the turn is done, we should be able to see the runway. I'll use my laser.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, no tower services available at Fahud, frequency change approved, bye-bye.
Frequency change approved, CIC 06, thank you. So it's telling me frequency change because it wants us to, come on, 2,200. Because it wants us to change to the Unicom frequency, but it's not implemented yet in Beyond ATC, so doing it would be pointless. There would be nothing to do. So I will just focus on the landing. So yeah, 2,200, and I'll do the lazy thing, which is to engage altitude hold. That slows the plane down, and then I can deploy the gear. Deploy the gear. Not the flaps, the gear. Oh god. Yeah, so there's the runway over there. There's probably some wind. Okay, gear down. Now the flaps. Trim up so it stops complaining. Add more power. It stops complaining faster. And then once I reach the FAF, the final approach, I'll turn off autopilot and then we'll land as we usually do. Trims at neutral. It's hot, almost 40 degrees. And yeah, again, see there's some power, the power line, and then some houses and places, but this is just an oil field really. Oman, as expected, is another oil state in the Arabian Peninsula, so that's not very surprising. Alright, something I always forget. Prop and mixture. So full power. Yes, I know you want more trim. You are fine. We're aligned with the runway. I'll turn off autopilot so it stops complaining. It's okay. Let's start descending. yeah, we're going very slow, so gaining a little speed isn't much of a problem. Second stage of flaps, and descending. The airport's about 500 feet, so we still have a fair amount of descending to do. So less power, trim up. There seems to be some crosswind, but nothing major. Trim should be fine, and I'm just keeping it, pointing it down slightly. Yes, the only possible hazard are the power lines, but we should clear them well before the runway. So yeah, I have really nothing to say about Fahud. I don't know if this is a refinery or if it's just a warehouses and whatnot to store the oil. Probably just the warehouses and buildings. Oman has a sort of a strange history in the 21st century, other than the Dhofar War that I mentioned in the previous flight. It's been relatively peaceful. There is a swimming pool, so yeah, probably hotels and things like that. Okay, third stage of flaps. As I understand it, the Sultan that ruled Oman from the 1930s to the 1970s basically prohibited any sort of modernization of the country. So the country was left pretty much as it had been up to the 19th century, even though they were, you know, kind of a British protectorate. And so the British, you know, helped explore the oil and also helped with defense. There's a lot of power lines. I have no idea if this is accurate or not. And the country only began, you know, moving into the 20th century at around 1980 or so, which is crazy. And one of the most noteworthy things about it is that Oman was one of the last countries in the world to outlaw slavery. It only happened in the 1980s. Yes, you heard that right. In the 1980s. So yeah, anyway, time to land and stop blathering. Yeah, there's no peppy lights or anything. Yeah, just a little crosswind, see, not very strong. I am a bit too high and a bit too fast, but it's a long enough runway. We should be able to touch down more or less gracefully. Less the more gracefully, I suppose. Yeah, just a little bounce. Correct it, and yeah. Again, there's no tower, so we won't have any taxiing information. I'll just taxi wherever I feel like and park wherever I feel like and do a drift and a 180 turn wherever I feel like as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time when we will be heading to Muscat, the capital, so it should be a more visually interesting flight. Thank you once again.